Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now, your hosts, Navah and Matt Asner.
I agree. Hello, welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. I was ready to say happy Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, but it
You
does
were
not
wishing.
feel like it
You
does
were
not
wishing.
feel like
You
Saturday.
were wishing. Not
Saturday
yet.
is like my only day off.
Really?
Yeah.
Not this Saturday.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna have any days off.
No.
Oh.
Friday. You'll have Friday.
No, I'm working all day Friday. Even God said that we have
Really?
to have one day off, right?
What are you doing all day Friday?
We're prepping for a resource fair on
yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, well, I'm taking Friday off. So
Okay. Well, as long as you're taken care of, that's all that matters.
I'm kidding. How's everyone doing? We're here at the Brady, the Brady Bunch of
We're
Autism.
here in the Brady Bunch house.
At the Ed Asner
in
Family
Hawaii.
Center, and we're here having fun. And here we are.
Yeah.
And we have a good show today.
I know. I'm so excited. I've been waiting forever to go back to in-person seminars and fairs, and we haven't seen our friend Jennifer in forever. Jennifer asked me many years ago. We'll ask her. It feels like 20 years ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
It was a COVID ago, a lifetime ago.
Help her write the foreword to this incredible book called Autism in Heels, which everybody who has a daughter with autism, I suggest this book because it's so beautifully written and so sensitive, and it really is an incredible portrayal of Jennifer's life as a female autistic woman. And let's bring her on because I'm so excited to talk to Jennifer.
Let's bring her on.
She's doing so many.
Hello,
exciting,
Jennifer.
Hey.
Hello, folks. How are you?
Now, we're good. Now, where in the world are you?
I'm in Charlotte, North
Charlotte?
Carolina. Yes.
North Carolina.
Yes.
How far are you from Kill Devil Hills? I stayed there.
Oh, really? That's near the coast. Yeah. We are about 3 hours from the coast, so we're pretty far inland.
Which is the greatest beaches I've ever hung out at, and it was just the greatest. Yeah, but it was in the middle of summer, and it gets really muggy there, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, completely. It is a wet heat. I grew up in New Jersey, which you cannot hear anymore, which is probably a good thing because when you could, it was not attractive. But I've been down here since '97, and I don't think I've still adapted to that summer, that oppressive summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
New Jersey summers are not that hot either, or they're hot.
It's very hot.
Yeah, but they're. What I mean is they're not that.
It's
hot,
not as
I mean?
It's the
They're
I want to say the
difficult.
fog, but it's the wet heat.
And the national bird is a mosquito.
Yeah,
this is true. They are gargantuan size, pterodactyl size.
When was this book written? We were trying to figure that out.
Okay, so the book itself was published in December of 2018, but it just came out in paperback.
Oh, right on.
So that's right. So the audio came out I recorded the audio in early March of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I finished it on like the 10th. And then the paperback just came out. So that's why it's kind of getting buzz again, because it's a new release that way.
Well, what I love about the book is, how so many people focus on autistic males, and the female, has really had to take a back seat in this whole journey. And you're, in my opinion, like the foremost person who has really written a book about autistic women from an autistic point of view. And it's, you yourself have autistic children. It's just such a beautiful portrayal. And I heard that you are now your family's another Brady Bunch of Autism, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, seriously. We've got 7 between us. My husband and I got married on Christmas in our pajamas 2 years ago now.
Yes.
Because why not, and had some pancakes, and that's how you do it. So, and we've got 7 between us. So yeah, I know. I feel like when I hear the two of you like banter, it's the same.
You have 7 children?
between them. They're a
But that's
blended
one
family.
more than us. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
I know.
You
what I'm
win.
saying.
You win.
We're overachievers. What can I tell you? Yeah.
That's
I've got 3 and he's got 4. So, and it's an age range of 12 to 21. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, that's right.
Close
That's
to ours.
totally like us.
Our
Wow.
youngest is 13 and our eldest is going to be 25 soon.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
a lot. It's a lot.
So one of the
but-
things
It
that
is. We're impressed. We're impressed because we know.
That's right. And I'm still awake, right?
how many are living at home?
So, Brett is my husband's name. Brett's kids live a good distance away. They live about an hour and a half away. And my 3 are here. My eldest will be going to college next year.
Oh,
And
wow.
then the others, I have a freshman currently and a 7th grader. So yeah, and my 3 are on the spectrum. So I've got a daughter and then I've got 2 sons. And he's got a son, 2 girls, and another boy. So we're almost split down the middle. We really do have a group.
If I remember correctly, I think we met one of your daughters.
Yes.
I think you did. You did. You met Maura. She is. She actually has done some work for Autism Society of America as well. She did a talk during COVID about sort of using the time to focus on yourself and looking for different ways to cope through it. She created a business during COVID where she wanted to celebrate women and to educate young women about women's history in ways that marginalized populations maybe hadn't been included. So what does she do? She does the research, and then inspired by these women, she creates beauty products. So we have like chemistry happening in the kitchen, and then she creates a website and then it's ridiculous. And so when you're talking about the creativity of brains that work a little different,
yeah,
right. There's no such thing as can't. It's just can't, maybe won't do it that way, but we'll do it this way. So pretty amazing.
One of our middle guys, he was fighting COVID and trying to do all his auditions for college at the same time.
Right, yeah.
And his first choice school was when he was at his sickest. And Matt and I were listening to him, practice his piano audition the day before, and we're like, oh my God. But somehow, like you say, the autistic brain, he was able to hyper focus, and he did this crazy good audition, and he got into Berkeley School.
Berkeley, right? Yeah, I saw that. Fantastic.
It's crazy. I'm never going to stop talking about it because it's hard.
You should be very, very, very proud and excited.
I'm beyond. I'm just like floating on air. Now let's talk a little bit about this new project you're doing, which is so exciting, and it's really what inspired the dating spectrum here at the center.
The TV one, yeah.
So
you have another one, so obviously we should talk about that too. So I guess there's a number of them, because she was like, "Oh, which one?"
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, there's right. So the one that you're alluding to, that's super, super, super exciting. Yeah, my the other thing is that the book that was my second book, which is the Unspoken Secret Book of Social Rules. That one is in 7 languages now, and it's coming out with its 10th anniversary edition in June. So that's pretty exciting because it really kind of plays into the big announcement, which is what you were alluding to a minute ago, which is that Love on the Spectrum is debuting in the US. And though I can't give the exact date, I'm not allowed to. That's my one secret still. It will be sooner rather than later. And I don't know if you all, well, I know you all did, but I don't know how many folks who are watching us today fell in love with it in the Australian version. Like I certainly did. But it's so easy to look at, reality TV or docu-series and think, oh Lord, this is going to be like The Bachelor, does autism kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it could not be. I literally this afternoon finished screening all of the episodes ahead of time, and give me the Kleenex, because you're just cheering for these people and the joy that's happening in their lives. And I got to be part of the team. So I was brought in to be the autism expert, coach person, whatever you will, to work with folks who are young people. So I think it was a minimum age of 25 who were on the spectrum and looking to make love connections. And that's hard for anybody to do, let alone, if you've got some extra challenges in the water, right? So it was really a thrill and a privilege to kind of come in, play some games. Obviously, 90% of what you're doing with somebody doesn't even end up in the tapes, right, on screen. Right. But we got to play games and probably things like you do, and practice different conversational skills and unzip social rules that are largely hidden and sticky, and figure out what you're trying to put out there. And maybe if you're not putting out there what you mean to, finding a way to make them mesh. It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
That's great.
Well, what I loved, I haven't seen all of the second series, but what I loved so much about the first season was that they had really like the family story behind it, and especially the young man who Michael. And I think Michael came back in the second season. Is he in the third? Oh no, it's the US version. Wouldn't have Michael.
No. We've got, but trust me, we've got our own hashtag team, somebody you're going to want to just fall in love with. And they did. Kean O'Cleary, who is the director, and I know that y'all know Kean, is the same gentleman who did the work in Australia. He's got his head and his heart in such the right place. It is done with so much respect and kindness. And I love that he's really brought together a very, diverse cast, if you will, of characters. And you fall in love. And like you said, Navah, having the families and seeing what this means to the parents, to see their kids, their, young adult children, having these experiences that maybe they thought never would happen. It's just, it's humbling. These are the people who go to heaven first. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we really were inspired by that. I mean, every day parents say exactly that to me. Every day I get calls from parents saying how their adult children have regressed during COVID, and they are so lonely, and they're just, in their rooms all day long. And so we're now in session 4 of the fourth chapter of the dating spectrum. And we just had our session last night, and I'm just so blown away by how these kids have gone from, just really nervous and unsure of what the group was going to be like. But for our class, what makes it work and what makes it special and unique is that we have Tom Island, who's a life coach and an autistic self-advocate. And he is right there co-teaching with our therapist.
Yes.
Because, it's unrealistic for us to say to an autistic person, I know what you're going to feel like on a first date. I know what you're going to feel like when you get on social media and somebody tells you something inappropriate. We have to have this authenticity. And really, to me, that was the part, I love the idea of the coach on Love on the Spectrum, but the fact that you are an authentic autistic person who was representing the autistic community, to me, there's no comparison. It has to be that. It has to be in order to get the quality and the authenticity that everyone wants.
Well, you're doing it the right way. I'm sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and we were big fans of certainly the first season. I don't think I've seen the second season, so
I'm about halfway through.
So I have to catch up. But I think, and I don't know who they use as the coach in the second season, but I think it's wonderful that they chose an autistic person such as yourself to coach in the third season. I think that's a wonderful.
I can't believe you're not in front of the camera, though. I mean, you are so dynamic. You're so well spoken. You have such a charisma, and they put you behind the scenes.
No, I'm on camera.
I was going to say,
because you told me before, you said I'm behind the
camera. No. I'm on camera. The crazy redhead made it on screen. And it was so much fun. We got to, do role play. I have to put it this way. I just felt like, because he really picked, Kean, really picked people whose needs that is their obvious needs. We're all over the spectrum, right? Guys, girls, so that you see this very real truth represented, that we don't all look one way. No group does, right? There's no monolithic this, that, or the other thing. And so there were these opportunities and these moments to say, okay, tell me more about that. Why are you feeling this way? In a way that maybe a neurotypical coach might say, well, here's what you're probably feeling. Here's what you ought to do, with the best of intentions. But if you're having, if you've maybe been on the other side of it, it's easier to intuit. These are the moments when, maybe someone isn't really able to read the signals or isn't able to know what to do next. And it just feels pretty natural. So yeah, it was wonderful.
And I think a good example of that is the codes that we all kind of use to kind of decipher the world of love and dating, that neurotypical people use, the codes. So, those are just completely lost on neurodivergent people.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So it's wonderful to have someone that speaks the language and the same language, and it's wonderful. So I'm glad that they made that choice, and that
I am too. I'm really grateful for the chance. Yeah.
And that's the reason that Navah, felt it was so important to have a neurodivergent person inside the course that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's very important.
It's the difference between, that's a pretty dramatic thing to say, but for me, it would be the difference between something that's completely fake and like hollow, and something that's authentic, and something I would want my own children to be, something I would want to attend. And it's just, we have to, that's all of our programs. I mean, I've told you before, all of our programs are co-created and co-run by autistic individuals, because I want to give them what they want, and sometimes what they want. And one of the things I love so much about you were talking about his sensitivity, the director, is there's a lot of scenes in that first season where there's a lot of anxiety and panic and other issues with the participants, and he stops the filming because the girl had a panic attack, and it was beautiful and so sensitive that they just totally brought it to what she needed at the moment. And I mean, it was heartbreaking too, because then you saw our friend. Right. No. But it just shows how incredibly sensitive he is. And I keep saying he, because we made a joke how I kept mispronouncing his first name. No. And everyone does. I mean, it was like,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure people see it or something like that.
Oh, it's,
yeah, because it's spelled with the C. Yeah, I think you couldn't be more spot on. I mean, from the second that you all started, from the second you all were beginning the center, that was where you were coming from. I mean, that was we want to do this and be, inclusive and be real and authentic and have it be a structure that has, neurodivergent voices built into the very foundation. And that's been a big part of what you've done.
Yeah. I remember when you and I first met, we had just started to create it in our world. And we were doing it kind of in a spy versus spy way, because Matt had to still pretend he was working with ASA and you were working with them. Oh, it doesn't matter now. Ship's out of the boat. But I was like doing as much as I could by myself, but it was just like, that was, and I still think so fondly on that last conference that we went to, because I met all these people that were like I was their biggest fans. I certainly, you and Amy Gravino, but now it's like Amy was one of our teachers and we've all become such good friends. And it was the first time I had met and actually heard John.
Elder Roberson.
John Elder Roberson, who I absolutely love.
Well, Heels was actually, that was his idea. Autism in Heels. That was his idea.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I have to give props where props are due. Yeah.
Let's hear that story.
Basically this goes back to, so I'm trying to think. I was diagnosed 11 years ago, and I wrote my first book a year after I was diagnosed. And honestly, this is no humble brag. This is a story. Mine is a story of clearly things were supposed to happen. I've had a chance and a platform because it was supposed to be there. So I got to do some good stuff, for people, not because of anything else. But the first two books were out within a year and had already won several big awards. And so I guess I met John at one of the ASA conferences, and we were talking about how he was saying to me how he didn't expect to see someone with autism walking around in high heel shoes. And right. And for me, please, footwear, darling, that's give me the shoes. And so we got into this kind of conversation about how there's Temple Grandin has this very almost androgynous, which is not uncommon for some folks on the spectrum, right? But look, and how this was very different and needed to be kind of spoken about. And he said something to the effect of, well, if Look Me in the Eye is the boys' version, you need to do a girl's version. So that's really where it started. And there is a good story about Temple and my shoes. I will tell you, though, that we were in a hotel room together once, and she was trying to teach me how to do, I was having sciatic pain. So she's trying to teach me how to do butt stretches, as she calls them. And she's rolling back and forth on the ground doing butt stretches, going, Jennifer, this way, and then rolls right over my thing of high heel shoes. And she's going, ow, I don't know how you can wear these things. And I remember saying, Temple, I could never rock a bolo tie. There's room for us all.
Oh my gosh, that is hysterical.
That's great.
It's a good
I love that story. I love that story. Well, I think your daughter needs to be the next authoress, because she can inspire so many young people just like you did. And I remember meeting her, and hopefully you guys will come out together and tour the center. I would love that.
I love that so much. I would love that.
I can't imagine when the show comes out, I'm sure you guys are going to be doing some press and stuff about it. So
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
You were at one of our last in-person poker tournaments, and we're finally going back to in-person in June. If you're around,
you heard it here.
Yes,
that's a big month. That's something we work on. Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be great.
I know. We're so excited.
First one in.
You've got to be.
Yeah.
How many years?
3.
This is the first one in 3 years.
First person in 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
3 years.
Oh, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. What was I'm curious, with your group that was running just the one even last night. So what were you talking about? What was the newest topic that you all were tackling?
Well, each week they have a kind of a different chapter, so to speak, that they work on. And they are doing everything from gender identity to social media safety to,
oh Lord, yes.
They do a mock dating program for actually 2 sessions, because the kids loved it so much. And it's very similar to what you were talking about, where in this new group, we started with 4 kids. We're now up to 14.
Wow.
We really each get an opportunity to have this kind of conversational back and forth. And a lot of the beginning parts of it are naturally awkward and hard. But it's what I think what makes the group successful is it's a small group, and it's very conversational. There's a lot of back and forth. There is, like you said, there's all levels in this class. So some people have experience. Some people have never, ever even thought about going on a date, but they know that they want to do that. Right. And, a lot of the moms write to me and they're like, oh, is my son or my daughter going to find somebody? And I said, this isn't a matchmaking course. Right. This is a course about giving your child the tools to feel confident. So when they are on social media or they are talking to somebody on an app, or
Yeah.
they meet somebody in person in
Right.
real life, IRL in real
Yeah,
life.
right. Very good. Very good.
Confident to be their best self, and if they don't feel comfortable, they feel confident to leave.
They'll
too,
have the
and
tools to take care of themselves.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
really about
That's what it is.
really about giving these young people tools to feel like when they're ready for that next
Yeah.
step, they're going to get some authentic feedback from Tom. They're
Yep.
going to get maybe some mental health, support as well.
Yeah.
It's really the full package, and I'm so excited about how it's going. It's really
well, what you're doing. I mean, it sounds like there's that old adage about giving someone a fish versus teaching them to fish, right? And that's what you're doing, is you're giving the skills so that it's not a one-shot wonder. Either it goes well or it doesn't. It's you've got the quiver full of arrows.
Absolutely, and that's what we've strove to kind of create. And we saw a need, and especially in the community, there was a few clinical kind of like things.
Yes.
But every person I talked to, every autistic person, had told me, I just felt like I was sitting there being preached to and just talked down to, and not really included in the conversation, included in my point of view, and really I felt like it was very clinical, and so.
And nobody wants that. You don't want to be bored, and you don't want to be condescended to.
No,
exactly.
And actually, I think that's a theme that we have with the entire centers. We don't want it to feel clinical. We don't want it to feel like you're going into a doctor's office,
right? Or you're doing something therapeutic.
Yeah.
It should be about fun,
and
inclusive fun,
warm,
and
welcoming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's something that we would all want. I mean, I hate doctors. I don't want to go.
That's completely right. I mean, I often say, wherever we are, we're all on the human spectrum first, right?
That's right.
And nobody wants to go into something that's sterile and cold or super academic, where you feel like you're a lab rat, or you feel like it's now time to kind of just make sure you're in your place. That's not encouraging to anybody. And anybody who's ever been on a date knows that it can be a little bit scary for everybody. So the last thing you would want is that. No, and with the two of you, there's no way it could be that. And you're both very warm people. So
thank you, Jen.
Oh,
well, thank you. And I'm so glad you guys that you had a chance to talk to us. I've been waiting for this day.
And we hope you'll come on again.
I would love to. Yeah, there's a lot to talk. So many things we can talk about. So I would love to.
Well, let's do this again when you guys go live on Netflix.
Okay, well, that will be sooner than later. So that sounds good. And I would love to put this.
But we'll be able to like have some clips and stuff like that. I think
certain.
Let's do it. Let's do it again then.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Right.
Thank you so much. And again, even whether you have a boy or a girl, this is such a beautiful book. I recommend it to everyone. And it's just, one of many of Jennifer. Do we go by Cook?
So what I jokingly say? I say Jennifer Cook, formerly O'Toole, because people know me by Cook O'Toole, and that got changed. So same ginger, different name.
I love you, Jen.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Hi to the Brady Bunch of Autism too.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds great. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
So that was a great conversation.
Yes.
And now we have to go because we don't have any time.
Oh, well, we could have talked to Jen for an hour.
We could have. And look, Kimberly Agostino just ordered the book. So,
yay!
You see? So there we go.
It's a wonderful book.
Ding ding.
It's a wonderful book, and Kim, look at all her other books, because she has an incredible lineup of books for teens. There's a book about Asperger's. It's a wonderful, wonderful story, and a wonderful lady.
So join us on Thursday for our second episode of the week of Brady Bunch of Autism, where we talk with Krissa Assad, our mental health director. We're going to be talking about something that happened on Sunday, which we didn't talk about today, but we'll talk about on Thursday. The Oscars.
A little controversial.
The Oscars. What happened at the Oscars? Some crazy stuff happened at the Oscars.
Crazy and wonderful, but that's for Thursday.
Yeah, mostly crazy. So
mostly a lot of wonderful. Let's talk
Really?
about the wonderful parts too.
we'll talk about all that stuff.
Okay. We'll see
But
you guys on
we'll see you guys on
Thursday.
Thursday. Keep your
Have a wonderful
seatbelts
day.
fastened. Take care.
Tronus.